Today, we are going to study about an expression for the potential energy of the Bohr magnet or a magnetic dipole in a uniform magnetic field. For studying this, let us consider the expression for torque acting on the magnetic dipole placed inside a uniform magnetic field, what we have studied in our previous class. So, when you are considering a uniform magnetic field B, placed inside an external a uniform magnetic field inside which a Bohr magnet or a magnetic dipole is placed at an angle theta. Then at the south pole and at the north pole, we are getting the force experienced by the pole strengths given by BQM, which are equal in magnitude, opposite in direction, said to form a couple. Because of that couple, there is no translatory motion. That is, the Bohr magnet won't move along the direction of the force, but the resultant is rotation, called to be moment of couple or torque. Magnitude of the torque produced on this magnetic dipole is PMB into sine theta, or I can say the torque tau vector equal to PM vector cross B vector. If you want to get the direction of the torque is perpendicular to the magnetic dipole moment and that of the magnetic field acting. This we have already studied. Taking this concept as its principle, we are going to derive an expression for the potential energy developed on the Bohr magnet or developed on the magnetic dipole when placed inside the uniform magnetic field. So let us consider the same diagram again. So I am having an uniform magnetic field acting along the horizontal line, which is represented by parallel lines. So this is taken to be B vector. Inside this, I am having a Bohr magnet or a magnetic dipole, having the south pole at one end and the north pole at the other end, placed initially at an angle theta or theta dash, considered to have the pole strength QM. So when this magnetic dipole is placed inside this magnetic field, that magnetic dipole will experience a torque. So I am initially writing a torque developed on the magnetic dipole, torque developed on the magnetic dipole, or I can say the Bohr magnet, and the torque developed is given by magnitude of the torque developed tau vector is equal to Pm into B into sine theta. Take this as equation number 1, where theta is taken to be angle between the axis of what? Axis of the magnetic dipole, or the axis of the Bohr magnet and the applied magnetic field B. Now what I am going to do is, this torque, what will happen? This torque will try to rotate the magnet or the dipole parallel to that of what? Parallel to that of the magnetic field. But what I am going to do is, I am going to rotate that magnetic dipole by applying an external torque so that it can be rotated through an angle d theta. See, we can say this torque produced means PMB sine theta. This torque will try to rotate the magnet, or the magnetic dipole parallel to what? Parallel to the external magnetic field B. But what I am going to do now, by applying an external torque, I am representing that external torque as a tau external. So by applying an external torque, the magnetic dipole or the Bohr magnet is rotated through a small angle d theta. Is rotated through a small angle. I am considering like this, small angle d theta. See, if I have to apply an external torque, means the applied external torque should be equal and opposite to the torque produced on that Bohr magnet. The Bohr magnet மேல எவ்வளவு torque produce ஆயிருக்கோ அதுக்கு ஈக்குவலா இன்னொரு டார்கை நான் ஆப்போசிட் சைடு டைரக்ஷன்ல அப்ளை பண்ணாதான் இந்த மேக்னெட்டிக் டைபோலை என்னால ரொட்டேட் பண்ண முடியும். So I am considering that the torque external that I am applying is equal to the torque that was being developed inside but in opposite side direction, which is again equal to the applied torque will be then equal to magnitude of that torque will be then equal to Pm into B into sin theta. Okay, now I am saying, so now by applying an external torque, I can say the magnetic dipole is rotated through a small angle d theta. Therefore, work done is equal to, I am saying that work done as dW because I am rotating it through a small angle d theta. Work done, I am taking it as dW, which is equal to, what is that work done now? Work done is, in linear motion, it is force into displacement. In rotational motion, we have to say torque, applied torque, that is external torque, multiplied with the angular displacement. The displacement made is considered to be d theta. So what is that work done now? dW equal to, what is this tau external? Tau external is nothing but the tau, that is the torque produced on the magnetic dipole, which is considered to be Pm into B into sin theta. Multiply it with what? Multiply it with the d theta. So let us take this as equation number 2. This is the small work done in rotating the magnetic dipole through a small angle d theta. Now I am going to calculate what is the total work done in rotating the dipole from one initial position to another final position. So let us take like this. Let the initial position of the Bohr magnet, let the initial position, the initial angular position, let us take like this. Initial angular position, let us take it out as theta dash. Then let us consider final angular position. That final angular position, let us consider it as theta. If so, we can consider like this. Let W be the total work done. Let W be the total work done in rotating the dipole. In rotating the dipole. எங்க இருந்து எங்க வரைக்கும்? From theta dash, initial position theta dash, to final position theta. How you can able to get that total work done W then? Then the total work done W will be equal to integral of dW, because dW is the small work done moving it through an angle d theta. Here we are saying it as we are moving it from theta dash to theta. So if you are integrating dW from theta dash to theta, you can able to get this work done. This work done is stored in the magnetic dipole or in the Bohr magnet as potential energy. So this work done is stored in the Bohr magnet or in the magnetic dipole as what? In the Bohr magnet or magnetic dipole as the potential energy. So how I can write this now? As we know, potential energy is always represented by the letter epsilon, is equal to the total work done W, which is equal to integral of dW from theta dash to theta, which is equal to integral of theta dash to theta. What is dW? You take equation 2 and substitute it here. Pm into B into sin theta into d theta. Now, if you want to integrate, see, Pm is a constant which we can't able to integrate. Applied magnetic field is a constant. அதுவும் integrate பண்ண முடியாது. So integral of theta dash to theta. Variable quantity is angle. So theta dash to theta, initial position to final position, sin theta d theta. Now you apply the formula. What is your answer then? Or you integrate and get me the answer. So the potential energy stored is equal to the total work done equal to Pm into B sin theta d theta. When I am integrating sin theta, you will be able to get it out as minus cos theta. From theta dash to theta. So you apply the limit. The total potential energy is equal to Pm into B. So apply the upper limit, minus of cos theta minus of minus plus cos theta dash. Or you can write also like this, potential energy equal to, you take minus outside, then you can write minus of Pm into B into cos theta from theta to initial with the theta dash, yeah, theta dash to theta. So I can write minus of Pm into B into upper limit. You can write cos theta minus lower limit cos theta dash. ரெண்டுமே correct தான். Either you can write like this or like this. But உங்க bookல நான் second time எழுதுனது தான் கொடுத்திருக்காங்க. Therefore, இதுல இருந்தே இதை simplify பண்ணலாம். Total potential energy equal to taking minus common, minus of Pm into B. So this, and this minus is taken out. This is cos theta. Then instead of plus into minus, you are getting minus cos theta dash. So this expression gives you the total energy that was being stored in an magnetic dipole or in a Bohr magnet when it is moved from initial angular position theta dash to final angular position theta. Any difficulty? Let us consider this equation as equation number 3. This equation, let us consider it as equation number 3. Usually, in usual conditions, initial position theta dash keeping it perpendicular to that of magnetic field. See, if theta dash is equal to 90 degree, that is initially Bohr magnet, okay, initially the Bohr magnet is placed perpendicular to the magnetic field B, then what will be that value? Cos theta dash. Cos theta dash will 0 since theta dash is equal to 90 degree. Initial value is 90 degree. So what is the potential energy stored on the magnetic dipole then? It is minus of Pm into B into cos theta. Am I correct? So this expression is generally called to be the magnetic field acting on, potential energy acting on the magnetic dipole or the Bohr magnet inside the magnetic field. See, here we are having two conditions. What are the two conditions? This can also be written as dot product of two vectors. You see, epsilon is equal to minus of, this can be written as Pm vector dot B vector. As you know, A vector dot B vector is equal to, you will be writing it as AB cos theta. Here what I am having? Here I am having it as Pm into B into cos theta. So AB cos theta can be written as A vector dot B vector. So PMB cos theta can be written as Pm vector dot B vector. So I have written potential energy as the dot product of two vectors, which is a scalar quantity. So minus of Pm dot B vector. We can consider two special cases. So special cases, let us consider case 1. What is case 1? If theta equal to 0, that is, if I am rotating the magnetic dipole in such a way that that magnetic dipole or the Bohr magnet is parallel to that of the magnetic field, then only we can able to get theta equal to 0. That is, if the Bohr magnet or the magnetic dipole, whatever may be, Bohr magnet or the magnetic dipole is aligned parallel to magnetic field B, then what will happen? Parallel to magnetic field B means we can write theta equal to 0. So cos theta equal to 1. What will happen to potential energy then? Potential energy of the magnetic dipole when it is aligned parallel to that of the external magnetic field is minus of Pm into B into cos 0. Cos 0 tends to become 1. Therefore, potential energy is minus of Pm into B. So this is considered to be the minimum potential energy experienced by the magnetic dipole. But at the same time, let us consider case 2. What is case 2? If theta equal to 180 degree, what will happen? Theta equal to 180 degree means that is the Bohr magnet is aligned. That is the Bohr magnet is aligned or kept anti-parallel to that of magnetic field. Anti-parallel to magnetic field B, opposite to the direction of magnetic field. Then theta equal to 180. About what is cos theta? Cos theta will become cos 180. Cos 180 becomes -1. About what will be the potential energy? Minus of Pm into B into cos 180, which can be written as, what is its value? Potential energy equal to minus of Pm into B into -1. So potential energy is Pm into B. So potential energy is considered to be maximum. So the potential energy on the magnetic dipole or the Bohr magnet is maximum when that Bohr magnet is rotated with an external torque so that it is aligned in anti-parallel to that of the magnetic external magnetic field or applied magnetic field, then the potential energy stored in the magnetic dipole or the Bohr magnet is taken to be maximum. You can expect this question for an 3-mark question. Okay, expression for potential energy available on the Bohr magnet or magnetic dipole when placed inside a magnetic field. மூணே கான்செப்ட் தான். Number 1, when a torque is summarized பண்ணிடுறேன். When a magnetic dipole or a Bohr magnet is placed inside the magnetic field, it experiences a torque. So you write the value for the torque as Pm B sin theta. Let it be. What will happen? That torque will try to rotate the magnet parallel to that of the external magnetic field. But what I am doing, I am rotating that magnetic dipole and from the original position to some other position by applying an external torque. That external torque applied is equal to torque produced on it. So by applying an external torque, if the magnetic dipole or Bohr magnet is rotated through an angle d theta, work done is dW. Work done is torque into d theta. Now, what is the total work done in rotating the dipole from an initial angular position theta dash to final angular position theta? We have to calculate. That total work done is stored as potential energy. That is what we have calculated. So in order to calculate the total potential energy, we integrate the small work done. So that integration of small work done is integral of theta dash to theta PMB sin theta d theta. When you are integrating that value in between theta dash to theta, the final answer that you are getting is stored as the potential energy in the Bohr magnet when it is rotated from the initial to final position. So we are taking this expression gives the potential energy, the magnitude of the potential energy acting on the Bohr magnet. Acting on the Bohr magnet. If initially, if the Bohr magnet is kept perpendicular to that of the magnetic field, then potential energy stored is minus of Pm into B into cos theta, which can be written as dot product of two vectors as Pm vector dot B vector. We can consider two cases. If theta 0, potential energy is minimum. And if theta is equal to 180 degree, then potential energy is maximum. Hope you should have understood what I have told here. We are going to study about magnetic properties. See, when you are considering the magnets that is available in this universe, the magnets that is available in this universe are classified under 3 headings as diamagnetic materials, paramagnetic materials, and also as ferromagnetic materials. So that the diamagnetic material, paramagnetic material, and the ferromagnetic material, when you are considering how you can classify as these materials are dia, these materials are para, these materials are ferro. For that, we have to study some general properties of magnetism. That general properties of magnetism based on which the magnetic materials in this universe are classified are called to be magnetic properties. So what are the magnetic properties that we are going to study here? So the first magnetic property that I am going to deal is magnetizing field. Magnetizing field. This magnetizing field is represented with the letter H. This magnetizing field is an vector quantity. This magnetizing field is measured with the help of an SI unit called to be ampere by meter or ampere meter power minus 1. If so, what is its dimension? The dimension is considered to be, for ampere it is A, for per meter it is L power minus 1. These are some of the general concepts of magnetizing field. The name itself is self-explanatory. What is meant by a magnetizing field? See, I am having a material. Okay, I am having a material. This material has to be magnetized. In order to get this material to be magnetized, what I am going to do? I am applying a field from externally to this substance or to this specimen or to this sample, so that the sample or this specimen is said to get magnetized. கரெக்ட் தானே? ஒரு ஸ்பெசிமனையோ இல்ல ஒரு சாம்பிளையோ மேக்னடைஸ் பண்றதுக்கு நான் ஒரு ஃபீல்டு அப்ளை பண்றேன். The applied magnetic field to get this specimen or the sample to be magnetized, that applied magnetic field is called to be magnetizing field. Hope you should have understood. So what is meant by this magnetizing field? Magnetizing field is nothing but a magnetic field which is used to magnetize, which is used to magnetize, which is used to magnetize a sample or a specimen. Magnetize a sample or a specimen, which is called as, which is called as magnetizing field. That is what I have told. It is self-explanatory. You say the literal meaning for magnetizing field, that is considered to be its definition. So magnetizing field is nothing but the magnetic field that is applied to what? The magnetizing field that is applied to the specimen or the sample, so that the sample gets magnetized. It is a vector quantity. It is denoted by the letter H. Since it is a vector quantity, we are writing it as H vector, and SI unit is ampere per meter, and the dimension is called to be AL power minus 1. Okay, this is the first magnetic property. The second magnetic property that we have to study is magnetic permeability. Considered to be magnetic permeability. What do you mean by this magnetic permeability? Already we have studied while we are studying the Coulomb's inverse square law. So it is represented by the letter mu. This mu is having an unit called to be SI unit called to be what? SI unit called to be Henry by meter. If you want to calculate the dimension, we have to calculate it with the help of the Coulomb's law. They might have studied like this, isn't it? F is equal to mu divided by 4 pi into whole strength Qm into Qm divided by R square. If you want to calculate the dimension for mu equal to F 4 pi vitrala, F into R square divided by Qm square. For force, it is ML T to the power minus 2. For R square, it is L square. Qm, it is ampere meter. Since it is square, ampere square is L square. So in the L square cancel item. M, L power 1, T power minus 2. Take this to the numerator, A power minus 2. So the dimensional formula is, if you are considering the dimension is M, L, T power minus 2, A power minus 2. This is the dimensional formula for magnetic permeability. Okay, what do you mean by this magnetic permeability? In electrostatics, you might have studied about permittivity epsilon. There you have stated the ability of the electrical lines to pass through the medium is permittivity. Here magnetism. Instead of electric lines, here you will have magnetic lines. The same concept. What is that same concept? The ability of the medium to pass magnetic lines through it. We are calling it out as magnetic permeability. We can define magnetic permeability as, magnetic permeability is defined as the ability, okay, the ability of the medium to pass magnetic lines of force, or we can also say that instead of mu, we can say measure of, it is the measure of the capacity of the substance or capacity of the medium, or capacity of the substance, whatever may be. That substance medium, capacity of the medium or the capacity of the substance to take magnetization. How much amount of magnetic lines is passing through will be giving you the amount of magnetism. Or we can say the degree of penetration of magnetic lines through the substance or through the medium. Degree of penetration of magnetic lines through the medium or through the specimen. All are taken to be the same definition, called to be permeability. But when you are considering this permeability, usually permeability is defined like this: mu 0 into mu r. What is this mu 0? Mu 0 is nothing but permeability of free space, or you can say it out as vacuum, or we can say permeability of air medium. And this mu 0 is a constant. The value of the constant is 4 pi into 10 to the power of minus 7 Henry by meter. Okay, what is that mu r? Mu r, we can say it out as relative permeability of the medium. What is that relative permeability? Mu r, it is a constant. And this constant value for air medium is equal to 1. Mu r for air is equal to 1. For all other mediums, mu r is greater than 1. See, from this equation, I can define like this: mu r is equal to ratio of mu to mu 0. So I can say mu r also can be defined as ratio of permeability of the medium to permeability of free space or vacuum. Permeability of the medium to permeability of free space or vacuum. Since it is the ratio between two same type of quantities, mu Henry by meter da, mu 0 Henry by meter da. So since the ratio between two same type of quantities, mu r is considered to be unitless or dimensionless quantity. This is what we are stating it out as mu r. Are you able to understand? See, இல்ல உங்க புக்ல இல்லாத ஒரு கான்செப்ட் இருக்கு, பட் ஆனா பின்னால அதை யூஸ் பண்ணிருக்காங்க. அதையும் நீங்க படிச்சு வச்சுக்கோங்க, நான் சொல்லி கொடுத்துறேன். See, this mu permeability can be defined as mu is equal to B by H. What is B? B is the magnetic field. What is H? H is the magnetizing field. Magnetizing field is what you are giving it to the specimen. B is how much amount of magnetism is experienced by that specimen. எவ்வளவு அந்த மெட்டீரியல் எவ்வளவு மேக்னட்டிசம் அக்வயர் பண்ணிருக்கு, நான் எவ்வளவு கொடுத்தேன், ரெண்டுக்குள்ள ரேஷியோ தான் பெர்மியபிலிட்டி. ஸோ அதை தாங்க டிஃபைன் பண்ணியிருக்கோம். கேபபிள் ஆஃப், நான் நிறைய அப்ளை பண்றேன், ஆனா அந்த மீடியம் கொஞ்சத்தை தான் அதை பெர்மிட் பண்ணிருக்கு அப்படின்னா மேக்னெட்டிக் ஃபீல்ட் இந்த ஸ்பெசிமென் வில் பி லெஸ். அப்ளைடு வந்து அதிகமா இருக்கும். அப்ளைடுக்கும் கிடைச்சதுக்கும் அப்ளைடுக்கும் இடையில இருக்கக்கூடிய ரிலேஷன் தான் பெர்மியபிலிட்டி. இது எப்படி எழுதலாம் இல்லையா? mu can be written as mu 0 into mu r is equal to B by H. So therefore mu r can be written as B divided by mu 0 into H. இல்லனா இந்த ஃபார்முலா அப்படி எழுதலாம்: B is equal to mu into H or B is equal to mu 0 into mu r into H. அதே இது for air அப்படின்னு எடுத்தா B is equal to mu 0 into H. இது எல்லாமே வேணும் ப்ராப்ளம் போடுறதுக்கோ, இல்ல ஒரு பின்னால ஒரு ரிலேஷன் கொண்டு வருவோம், அதுக்கு எல்லாத்துக்குமே இது வேணும். வெரி 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 இம்பார்ட்டன்ட். ஆனா உங்க புக்ல இதை டிஃபைன் பண்ணல. எங்க இருந்து வந்தது அந்த ப்ராப்ளத்துல அப்புறம் என்கிட்ட கேட்டீங்கன்னா நான் திருப்பி சொல்லி கொடுக்கணும், திருப்பி இங்க இருந்து வரணும். அதனால இப்பவே புரிஞ்சுக்கோ. சோ அப்ப எப்படி டிஃபைன் பண்ணிருக்கலாம்? பெர்மியபிலிட்டி கேன், இது எல்லாமே இல்லாம இன்னொரு டெஃபினிஷன் கொடுத்திருக்கிறேன்னா, ஆனா பின்னால உங்க புக்ல அதை யூஸ் பண்ணிருக்காங்க, உங்க புக்ல அந்த டெஃபினிஷன் கொடுக்கல. அது என்ன டெஃபினிஷன்? பெர்மியபிலிட்டி இஸ் டிஃபைன்ட் அஸ், permeability இங்க இருந்து கொண்டு வந்திருக்கிறேன்டா. Permeability is defined as the ratio of magnetic field in the specimen, magnetic field in the specimen to magnetizing field applied, to the magnetizing field. So this magnetic field in the specimen is considered to be B. Magnetizing field is considered to be H. So if we ratio எடுத்தோம், we can able to get what? We can able to get the value of what? Value of permeability. Any difficulty? Hello? Any difficulty?
No, sir. No, sir.
So the third property that we are going to study is intensity of magnetization. Intensity of magnetization. What is that intensity of magnetization? It is generally represented by the letter I. But unga bookla vandu capital M அப்படினு சொல்லி represent பண்ணிருக்காங்க. This intensity of magnetization is a vector quantity. This intensity of magnetization அப்படின்றதுக்கு வந்து யூனிட் இருக்கு. SI யூனிட் அப்படின்னு சொல்லக்கூடியது என்ன அப்படின்னா, it is considered to be ampere by meter. அப்ப ampere by meter na A m power minus 1. So what is its dimension? If you are considering the dimension, dimension is considered to be A L power minus 1. So same as that of what? Same as that of முதல் கான்செப்ட் படிச்சோம் இல்லையா, magnetizing field அந்த மாதிரி. Magnetizing field or magnetizing field strength. So how I can able to say about the intensity of magnetization? You just consider any specimen, or just definition மட்டும் கொடுக்கல, ஒரு explanation இருக்கு. You just consider a specimen or you consider a sample of material. See, எந்த sample எடுத்தாலும் சரி, எந்த material எடுத்தாலும் சரி, atoms are considered to be the building blocks of that specimen or the sample. So that specimen or the sample is having more number of atoms in it. When you are considering an atom, you just consider each and every atom. எப்படி இருக்கும்? At the center of the atom, you are having the positively charged nucleus. Around that atom, you are having so many number of orbits in which in that you are able to get that electron. So we can say the electrons are revolving around what? Electrons are revolving around the nucleus in an orbit. So when the electrons are in motion, they are experiencing or they are developing an electrical current in a direction opposite to that of the direction in which the electron is in motion. So the motion of electron அப்படின்றது என்னன்னு சொல்லணும்? Orbital motion னு சொல்லுவோம். Motion of electron அப்படின்னு எடுத்தீங்கன்னா, that motion of the electron is called to be orbital motion of the electron. And the orbital motion, due to that orbital motion, that electron is producing a magnetic moment. Electron is developing what? Electron is developing a magnetic moment. இதுதான் ஆம்பியர் லாங்குவேஜ் கண்டுபிடிச்சாங்க. Due to current only you are able to get magnetism. So due to the orbital motion of the electron, that electrons are developing a magnetic moment. So when you are considering the magnetic moment of all electrons, but yeah, because you are having innumerable number of atoms. So if you are having innumerable number of atoms, each and every atom is having that magnetic moment for each and every electron. When I am considering the specimen, all the magnetic moment produced by the electrons in that atom are in random directions, Since the magnetic moment of all the electrons or all the atoms are in random direction, the net magnetic moment is equal to 0. The net magnetic moment is equal to 0 because magnetic moment produced by one orbital motion is cancelled by another orbital motion of an electron, since they are in random directions. அப்ப net magnetic moment 0 னா இதை வச்சு ஒண்ணுமே படிக்க முடியாது. So what I am doing, I am applying an external magnetic field. So the specimen is placed in what? So the specimen is placed in external magnetic field. When I am applying this external magnetic field, that is the magnetizing field, H. So when the specimen is placed in the external magnetic field, the magnetic moments of electrons, due to orbital motion, which are in random directions, are made to move in what? Or made to move in a definite direction, giving rise to what? Giving rise to a net magnetic moment. So when the specimen is placed in the external magnetic field, the magnetic moments of electron are aligned in the direction of applied magnetic field B, and gives rise to what? Gives rise to a net magnetic moment. A net magnetic moment. And the net magnetic moment அப்படின்றத நம்ம PM னு எடுத்துக்குவோம். Magnetic momentனாலே PM தானே. In the net magnetic moment in the specimen per unit volume, மொத்த வால்யூம் எடுக்காம per unit volume of the material எடுத்தோம்னா அதுக்கு பேரு தான் intensity of magnetization. So now what you have to calculate? Now calculate or get. Now you calculate magnetic moment of the specimen, per unit volume, then it is, then that value is என்னன்னு எடுத்துக்கிறோம்? Intensity of magnetization. So this intensity of magnetization is M, which is a vector quantity. Well, how I can able to calculate that this now? I can write the net magnetic moment or magnitude of the net magnetic moment. What I am calling it out as intensity of magnetization is equal to magnetic moment per unit volume. For I can write like this: net magnetic moment divided by volume. Am I correct? So this we are calling it out as the intensity of magnetization. This intensity of magnetization is caused by the magnetizing field. You see, what is this net magnetic moment? Magnetic moment is given by the formula ampere meter square. Volume is generally given by length into breadth into height. So meter cube. When I am cancelling 9, I am able to get that unit ampere per meter. So magnetizing field is the applied magnetic field to magnetize a material. When the material is getting magnetized, it is considered to be intensity of magnetization. So intensity of magnetization, I have got the unit as ampere per meter. See, for example, this is a general formula that I have derived here. See, if I am taking an example, I am taking a specimen. That specimen is a magnet having the south pole and the north pole at two ends. Let 2L be the length of the magnet or that magnetic material. A be the area of cross section. QM be the pole strength that was being induced due to the applied magnetizing field. Then how I can able to get the intensity of magnetization? So intensity of magnetization is equal to M vector. Modulus of M vector is equal to, what is the net magnetic moment? We know the magnetic moment for the specimen is, or the Bohr magnet is QM into 2L, one of the pole strength into perpendicular distance, divided by volume. What is the volume? Volume is area into length. So 2L will get cancelled. So the magnitude of the magnetizing moment or magnitude of intensity of magnetization can also be defined as pole strength per unit area. That is the definition. So from this, I can say also intensity of magnetization is defined as from this formula is defined as ratio between pole strength per unit area or ratio between pole strength and area, between pole strength of the magnet and the area of the magnet, or pole strength and area, or pole strength per unit area, or pole strength per unit area. So pole strength per unit area அப்படின்னு எடுத்தோம்னா, what is its unit again? You can calculate here. Pole strength measured in terms of ampere meter, area measured in terms of meter square. Meter will get cancelled. So again, we can able to get that formula, or the unit for intensity of magnetization is taken to be ampere per meter. Hope you should have understood this intensity of magnetization. So are you able to understand?